excited. We all okay here. Everything is good. The situation in Spain regarding this epidemic, pandemia is under control. From tomorrow, they're already starting to let people gradually come out from the close blocking.
Is that in Malaga or all over Spain?
All over Spain. All over Spain. Yeah, I think except Madrid and Barcelona, which are the two places which are most infected, will have a later. We'll have to wait for some more time. The rest of the country is going to start from tomorrow gradually.
Oh.
So, we all are so excited. I mean, many of your people who are here, we're not seen you since very long because they don't stay in Spain, and I mean in Malaga especially. I mean, they stay in Spain, but they are not from Malaga, so they are seeing you maybe for the first time. Like,
yeah, I can see quite a few of. So, like, Naveen, where are you now? Where is Naveen staying now?
Naveen is in Malaga. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Pinky is not in Malaga.
No, Pinky
I'm in New York, Maharaj.
Yeah, you're in New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Very good.
Yeah, I'm in Malaga, Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm seeing quite a few from Gibraltar also.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Karuna, how, and the Malkanis. Karuna, thank you. I'm happy to see you. And Usi, you said you're from Valencia?
Osi is from Seville. There's a place.
Hare Krishna, Mara means reverencias.
From Seville.
Muy contento de estar con usted y escucharles en este momento. Hare Krishna.
He's Spanish, and he's saying that he's very happy to see you and hear from you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
And Kishore is Kishore Narayan.
Yeah, he's one of the Sajanani's family from Dinabandhu's family.
Yeah. Vashi, I'm so happy to see you.
Krishna.
So you're in Malaga?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances. I'm in Malaga at present.
Yeah. And Tulasi Manjari. So you have to.
Hare Krishna.
I'm happy to see you.
We are very happy to see you and hear from you, Guru Maharaj.
Was there any effect of coronavirus in Gibraltar?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, but very mild. Nobody was hospitalized. But the lockdown, the government did the lockdown way before, and today they opened the lockdown.
Okay.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Only right now, only 10 people are affected, but nobody is serious.
Okay, someone is saying something.
She's conveying her obeisances, Guru Maharaj. Hari bol se Hare Krishna se Hari bol Hari bol Sinanda Sundari.
Okay, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, we have Keshava Bharti Prabhu from Alicante as well, or from Valencia.
And Bhagu is, Bhagu, how are you?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, everything fine.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you.
My due respects to you.
Seeing all of you after such a long time. Yes, Keshav Bharati. Yeah, Hari Bol, Keshav Bharati. How are you? You have to, yeah, unmute.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see you.
I slept my house because Krishna Cuisine is closed the 30 March. and I think it's possible to open
in a few days.
in a few days.
Okay, and I'm seeing Dinabandhu. Dinabandhu, how are you? You are in Malaga? Is anyone in Ceuta now?
He doesn't have his mic
mirando a
on.
todo. De ahí puede mirar porque no te ve. Mira, ahí está cara más
Hare
que
Krishna Maharaj.
ponte aquí.
Yes,
Ponte.
we all in Malaga. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Yeah, very good.
Ahora está con Dinesh.
And Nari is from Gibraltar?
Uncle Nari
Not Gibraltar, yeah.
in Las Palmas.
Las Palmas, yeah.
Las Palmas, yes.
Yeah.
Kishore also is
Oh.
there.
And Devakinandan is in Malaga.
Hare
Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Hari Bol. And Rasa Sundari, I'm so happy to see you.
We're also happy to see you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
And Kanika.
Hare Krishna. She's also happy to see you.
Kanika is from where?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'm from Delhi, but I'm staying in Malaga.
Okay, very good. Very good. And so, Ananda, how are you doing?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Very, very happy to see you. Just like you're personally present, you're visiting this year. Like every year you come and bless us with your presence. But at least we are seeing you personally, so it's very fortunate.
Yeah. Let's see what happens to this world now.
Yeah.
And Rahul is in Malaga now?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Rahul, how are you?
Humble obeisances.
So happy to see you.
So happy to see you, Maharaj, as well.
So you are practicing in Malaga now?
Yes, Maharaj.
You are in the hospital?
Right now, obviously our schedules have changed, but yes, I'm currently in the hospital over here in Malaga.
Very good. Devi Shrestha Dasi, how are you?
Pranam. How are you?
Thank you.
Fine, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Nice to meet
you. Also, Sarita, how is Sarita doing? Are you in Gibraltar now or?
No, in Malaga.
You're in Malaga. But you used to go to Gibraltar, yeah?
I'm working in Malaga now.
Oh, you're working in Malaga.
Yes.
Very good. And it seems that Vicky is trying to come in.
Yes, Maharaj, he's trying to come in.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Vicky, are you in Dubai now or?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet. I am in Dubai. Yes. This is my baby Maharaj Nushi.
Oh, wow.
Nushi say Jai. Nushi. Hare Krishna. Nushi. Jai.
What's her name?
Her name is Nushi Maharaj.
Very good.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. So, yeah, Rishabh Dev, how are you doing? You have to unmute your thing. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. I'm fine. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. And how is Nityangi Devi Dasi? Nityangi, where are you?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, my obeisances. I am in Malaga too.
You're also in Malaga. Very good. Okay, so yes, now I'm visiting Malaga. Oh yeah, Chakradhari, Gaur, Hare Krishna. Chakradhari, where are you?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna. We are from Barcelona.
Oh,
Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona.
Very good. So how is everything in Barcelona?
Yes, already it's fine. Now it's becoming recovering, and government also declared that everything is staying at home.
Very good, yeah. But from tomorrow you can go out, yeah?
Yes.
From today we can
going
go
out?
out and about 1 hour.
Only for
Please
1
bless
hour?
us. Yeah.
Yes, Maharaj.
We are
So,
from Bangladesh, Narayanganj.
oh, okay. So, the world situation, actually, it has been such a shocking experience, isn't it? Who could ever imagine a situation like this? Even generally at a time of difficulty, people go to the temple, people go to the church, people go to the mosque. And now they can't even go to the temple or church or mosque. It's the first time, I think, in the history of this world, such a thing happened. Even during the World War, churches were not closed. Mosques and synagogues were not closed. But for the first time in the history, and that shows how the world is changing, and along with that, the things are also changing. And we can see why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the holy name. Generally, people go to the place of worship to worship the Lord. But we are seeing that in situations like this, we won't even be able to go to the place of worship to worship the Lord. And that's why the Lord has given us the holy name. So that holy name we can chant anytime. And that's the best way to worship the Lord. In one hand, we can use this technique of worship anywhere, at any time. Even in our sick bed, even at the time of death, we can chant the holy name. And this is how we recognize how wonderfully Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy. And we are in a position to take advantage of that mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and this holy name is not different from Krishna himself. So we go to the temple to have the darshan of the Lord, but through the holy name, the Lord appears in front of us. At least we can understand that he is hearing us when we are chanting. We chant and he is there, he is hearing, at least although we cannot see him, but he is hearing. And these difficulties, we have to be prepared for any kind of situation. We should be prepared. And in a way, this is not such a bad situation. Just consider the amount of sinful activities that people are committing today, all over the world. So many cows are being slaughtered. Today, the main food of people of this world has become meat. Meat. And as a result of that, so many cows are being slaughtered. Now, how can we expect that there won't be any reaction? People are committing such sinful activities, and this reaction is inevitable. It cannot be avoided. So, and this reaction could have been so much worse. Just consider if there was a war as a result of their sinful reactions, if there was a war, what would have happened to the world? Compared to that, this situation is so much better. Nothing has been destroyed. Everything is intact. But Mother Nature is reacting. Mother Nature's reaction is you're killing animals, and now see, through the animals, your problem will come. The reaction to your action. You kill animals, and now the animals are coming back to you through this virus. And that's why I hope the world will recognize that fact and stop eating meat. Krishna has given so much. There is no abundance in this world. I was reading an article the other day. To get 1 kilo of meat, they have to use something like 100 kilos of vegetables. So, about 100 kilos of vegetables is getting 1 kilo of meat, and that also you have to kill the animal. So you can see like we have food in abundance. Hundreds of kilos of food is there for everyone. But how much do we need? Maximum 1 kilo, maybe 2 kilos in a day. And it's so healthy. Another thing that becomes quite obvious now, that all these diseases, all these epidemics and pandemics actually come from animals, animal flesh. Whereas no disease actually take place from vegetables. From meat, all these diseases are coming, say plague, or in that respect, just remember from Bible, like Moses was leading the Jews from Egypt to the promised land, Israel. They were running away from Egypt. They were slaves. Moses came to rescue them. And he actually is taking them across the Nile into the desert. A long time they had took to cross the desert. Now, what were they eating in the desert? Do you know? What were they eating? Okay, first consideration. Can anybody get any food in the desert? Now, of course, you get, like in Dubai, the middle of the desert, you get the most, the best food from the world in Dubai because they're being transported. Anyway, but in desert, you don't get any food. Now there are thousands of them. What were they eating? God was giving them manna. You knew that? Did you all read Bible, Old Testament? No? Okay. Read. Sort of. Lord was giving them manna. But some people got tired of eating that stuff. Manna means vegetarian food. Right? God was not going to give them meat. God only gives You can see what food God gave for human beings. You know, fruits, nuts, vegetables, milk. But some people are sick and tired of eating all this vegetable food day after. Some protested. Said, okay, if you want, be prepared for the consequences. And you know what happened the next morning? They saw so many birds in the desert, so many birds, and they started to catch the birds and they burned them and ate them. Now, mind you, Moses said that, yes, God will give you, but be prepared for the consequence. And you know what happened? Then there was a big epidemic of plague. And those who ate meat, they all died. So please wake up. I mean, at least I know most of you don't eat. I mean, you all are vegetarians. But I'm just telling for the people in this world, they should realize that non-vegetarian food, meat eating is the most harmful thing for human beings. All the diseases and this pandemic is due to that. Now, you know how it developed. Like, I'm meeting all kinds of things, eating bats. They're eating bat. They're in that's the Chinese, they're, anyway, like Rakshasas eat everything according to the Vedic understanding. They would eat everything. And here they are, these people eat everything. They eat rats, they would bats, they would snakes, they would eat monkeys, and I've been told, like there are restaurants. Anyway, I don't want to discuss about that. It's so unpleasant. So why, like when you eat vegetarian stuff, you feel so much better, you feel so much healthy. Why? Krishna has given, fruits, roots, vegetables, milk, nuts, and so many wonderful preparations can be made out of them. So why eat meat? And we know the 4 sinful activities are the root of all sinful activities. Therefore, we should abstain from that. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. Those who lead a pure life, abstaining from sinful activities, yes, they get a healthy life. They get a long life. People are dying so young nowadays. Actually, they're not dying also. They're meant to die, but with all these artificial means, they're kept alive. Medical science has developed all this. But what's the point? Like if you got a new house to move into from an old house, then why continue to stay in the old house, which is already falling apart? The body that is finished, like it's no good to live on. Why continue, just leave that body and go to the next body. A new body. Today, if somebody comes and tells you that, would you like to start your life again from the beginning, a fresh life? What will be the answer? If somebody comes and tells you that, would you like to go back to say when you're 10 years old and start from there? What will be your response? Will there be anyone who will say no? Go back to 10 years and start off again. Now, what to speak of 10 years? Krishna is saying, start from day one, a new life, a new body. So why not? You know, why not? Why they don't want to take that opportunity? Because first of all, they do not have any knowledge about this body and what to speak of next body. So they're in total ignorance. And due to the ignorance, they are not prepared to take the advantage. How can a person who is in ignorance take advantage of anything? He's in ignorance. He doesn't know anything. Therefore, people should be situated in knowledge, and we are so fortunate that Prabhupada has given us that knowledge through his books, through his writings. And these are not Prabhupada's own presentation. These are the wisdom that is coming from Krishna himself from the time of creation. This knowledge is coming from the spiritual world. But Srila Prabhupada is presenting this knowledge to us so that we can understand. Even a child can understand this knowledge. This so sublime, the way Srila Prabhupada has presented it. Only we have to accept it with faith. And what do we get to understand? We get to understand that we are spirit souls. The body is just an external covering, and this body is changing. This body is changing from childhood to youth to old age. It's changing. And then at some point we have to leave the body altogether and take up a new body. And if we act properly, if we act in the plan, then one thing is guaranteed, that the next life is going to be better than this one. If I know that I'm going to get a house which is better than the present one, if I know that I'm going to get a car that is better than the present one, then why should we hesitate to take that? So that is the knowledge that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And we can take advantage of this knowledge and make our life fully spiritualized, become situated, and that's how we conquer death. The worst kind of fear is the fear of death. Why people, everything closed down in the world? Because everybody is afraid to die. And they don't know how to deal with this virus because there is no antidote, there is no vaccine, there is no medicine for that. That's why they're in anxiety. But one thing you'll notice, so few devotees have been affected. Like the Spain had gone through such terrible situation. I was in touch with Vinod, Bihari, and Ananda, and I was told that not a single devotee has been affected. Yeah. See, not a single devotee has been affected. In some places, some devotees have been affected, but you know, death is there, inevitable. You know, people die everywhere. So death is not, death is inevitable. It will come to all of us someday. But the general point is that the devotees have been affected to this coronavirus. Although throughout the world, millions of people have been affected. But devotees haven't been affected. Why is that? Because they are leading a pure life. Because they're chanting the holy name of the Lord, because they have taken shelter of the holy name of the Lord. That's why they are not affected. They are not being affected. So that is the proof, the benefit one derives by taking shelter of the holy name. So there is nothing to be afraid of. Just take shelter of Krishna. And if we have to change the body, as I was telling, like what's the harm? When we know that the next body is going to be a better one. as I gave the example, like you have a car and it's an old car and the model also is not very good model. And now if you get a better car, a new car, and also a better model, much better model, will you be afraid to accept that offer? Give up the old car and take the new one. So that is the knowledge. And I am giving classes every evening in Indian time, 6 o'clock, on Uddhav Gita. Actually, I selected that topic because that situation when Krishna told Uddhav Gita to Uddhav, this Gita to Uddhav, the situation was very, very critical for Uddhav. How many of you are listening to that class, attending the class? Anyway, some of you are doing that. So I'll just give you the essence of it, I mean, why I selected. You see, Uddhav Gita is the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In 10th canto, Krishna's pastimes have been described. And now in the 11th canto, it is Krishna is now going to leave. Krishna came to re-establish dharma, rectify the situation of this world, kill all the demons, and protect the devotees. He had done that. And now he's going to leave. And before he left, by his arrangement, Dwarka is going to disappear. Krishna told Uddhav that on the 7th day from that day, Dwarka will disappear in the ocean. Dwarka will sink. And therefore Krishna told all the Jadus to go to Prabhash Tirtha. And so they are going to go there. And Uddhav knew they'll go to Prabhash, but there, due to the curse of the Brahmanas, like Durvasha, Narad, Vashishta, the Jadu boys insulted them. Like they dressed up Samba as a woman, as a pregnant woman, and went to these sages playfully. And like sometimes these little boys, the boys want to kind of have some prank, some fun, jokingly. So they approached these sages and asked them, can you please tell us whether this pregnant lady will give birth to a boy or a girl? And the sages told, yeah, she'll give birth to an iron club. That will be the cause of the destruction of your entire family. And they saw that in her stomach there's an iron club. And so they just went to Ugrasen, the king, and told what happened, and they all had a discussion what to do. The Brahmana's curse is not at all retractable. When the Brahmanas of that kind, I mean, not just today's Brahmanas, the real Brahmanas, those who are situated in Brahmabhuta platform, when they say there's bound to happen, and they saw that the club has appeared, and now this club is going to be the cause of the destruction of the whole family. So they decided to pulverize that. On the bank of the ocean, they were rubbing the club, iron club, on a stone. And so it was pulverized and it went onto the ocean water. And the last bit, that just the last small thin piece that was left, they threw it in the ocean. One fish ate that small piece, a small piece. A fisherman caught that fish, and when he cut the fish open, found a piece of iron, a piece of metal. So he sold it in the market, and one hunter bought that iron piece, and with that he made an arrow, because he's a hunter. And the pulverized iron club, the powdered that settled on the ocean coast of the ocean, bank of the ocean, and they grew into some seaweeds like bamboos. And the Jadoo dynasty, Jadoo members of the members of Jadoo dynasty, they got intoxicated by drinking wine, and then they pulled out those weeds like sticks, and they started to fight among each other, fight with each other, and they killed themselves. And the hunter, he made that arrow. When Krishna was lying under a tree, sitting under a tree, his foot was sticking out on his leg, and one hunter thought that it was a deer, and he shot that arrow, and that arrow hit Krishna's foot, and as a result of that, Krishna left his body. Now, of course, these are just Lord's pastimes. What a insignificant hunter's arrow can do to Krishna. Who was, when he was driving the chariot of Arjuna, his whole body was pierced with the terrible arrows that came from Bhishma. Like, they are not some hunter's arrows, they are Maharathi's arrows. Those arrows can even put the demigods in distress. But Krishna was not affected. So this is the pastimes. So in this way, Krishna arranged for all the Jadus to go back to the heaven, to the spiritual world. And he also decided to go back in this way. So Uddhav wanted to go back with Krishna. But Krishna said, no, you stay on. You give up all your attachments and stay on. And then Krishna gave these instructions to Uddhav. So just imagine Uddhav's situation at that time. I mean, that's why I say that compared to that situation, this coronavirus situation is nothing. Everything is normal. Nothing is so serious here. It is people are afraid. Look at Uddhav's situation. The city where he was to live is going to disappear. Can you imagine? Somebody comes and tells that whole Malaga city is just going to disappear within 7 days. How will you feel? The house that you built with so much endeavor, and now it's going to disappear in the middle of the ocean. All the members of your family are going to die. Everyone. And Krishna, who was the life and soul of Uddhav, he didn't know anything but Krishna. He was so attached to Krishna. He was with Krishna all the time. He used to come to Krishna's palace before Krishna woke up. And he used to leave after Krishna fell asleep. So then only he would go to his home. So the whole day he was with Krishna. He was Krishna, not only Krishna's cousin, he was Krishna's dearmost friend, he was Krishna's minister, he was Krishna's advisor, he was Krishna's messenger. And now Krishna is going to leave. So, I mean, and Krishna is giving him the advice. What is the advice? The bottom line of that advice is that this material existence is like a dream. Like a dream. Just as we dream, when we are dreaming, we think that the dream is real. We think whatever is happening around me at that time is the reality. And we are in the middle of the dream. I am thinking that I am there. And so in the dream, I have my identity. But when you wake up, you realize it's just a dream. So he's pointing out that this existence also is like a dream caused by ignorance. And this ignorance is our aversion to Krishna. When you reject Krishna, then you fall into a situation like this. When you want to enjoy without Krishna, we are put into a situation like this. Like Krishna, it's not possible for us to enjoy without Krishna. Therefore, an illusory arrangement has been made that we are thinking that this is real. This is also like a dream. Only difference is when we dream, when we fall asleep, those dreams are individually perceived. And this dream is collectively perceived. It's created by Krishna, this dream. We all are dreaming. And in the dream world, we are the thing that is acting is the modes of material nature and our action. Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasa. Gunai Karmani Sarvasa. Everything in this world is happening according to the three modes and our karma. The way we act accordingly will get the result. And it's actually a very painful, distressful, suffering situation that we are in. But due to the illusory energy of the Lord, we are thinking, oh, there's a possibility of enjoy. We think sometimes we are dreaming that we are enjoying. Sometimes we are dreaming that we are suffering. And that enjoyment and sufferings are coming the way we are acting here. When we act in the mode of goodness, we become elevated and we have sweet dreams. When we act in the mode of passion, we have distressful dreams. And when we are ignorance, those are bewildering dreams. This is how the modes of nature is acting on us. As we are acting, accordingly, those actions are taking place in different modes, and accordingly we are getting the results. And we are thinking that's what is happening to us. And just as when we wake up from our sleep, that dream disappears. Similarly, when we wake up from this reality, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur is urging, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Wake up, sleeping souls. So, and when you wake up where? In our spiritual identity, our real identity. Then this will disappear as a dream. We'll say, oh, we're just dreaming. All this material nature that we have been experiencing for maybe so many lifetimes was just a dream. So the reality is, our involvement in Krishna consciousness is to wake up from that dreaming state. Wake up. How to wake up? We wake up with knowledge. And that knowledge is the knowledge about Krishna, knowledge about our actual identity, and the knowledge about our relationship with Krishna, and then the reality will appear as an existence of full of joy. That world is an inconceivable world of joy. Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayaja. Sambandha, our relationship with Krishna. Krishna, understanding of Krishna. Abhidheya, how to develop that relationship with Krishna. And Abhidheya is bhakti. Through bhakti, through devotional service, we re-establish our lost relationship with Krishna. And when we develop that relationship, then prayajan, we get what we are really hankering for. Endless joy, unending joy. In this material nature, there is no joy. We know what we are hankering for in this material nature is happiness. Happiness is cessation of suffering condition. We're constantly suffering. When the suffering is reduced, we call it happiness. Happiness is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal, happiness, Sanskrit word for happiness is sukham, sukh. But what we are hankering for is ananda. Ananda is just diametrically opposed to what suffering is. If suffering is darkness, ananda is light. And that darkness is dispelled not by some lamp or some source of light. That suffering condition or that darkness is dispelled with Krishna when he appears like the sun. Just as when the sun rises, all darkness disappears. Similarly, when we develop our relationship with Krishna, all the suffering condition will disappear. We'll be situated in a state of joy that is, it's unimaginable. So that is such wonderful knowledge Krishna is giving through our Uddhav to us, to how to become situated in the real identity, in the real world where we actually belong. So please, Srila Prabhupada gave the books, and I often mention that we give classes, we give seminars, just to give you just the overview, just the basic understanding so that you become inspired to read. So please read Srimad Bhagavatam. At a time like this, read the 11th canto, especially 6th chapter onwards. 6th chapter is describing that Brahma came with the demigods, asking Krishna to now go back. It is due to Brahma's request that Krishna came to this world, and now the mission has been accomplished. So Brahma is requesting Krishna, now everything has been accomplished, so you can please go back. And then from 7th canto, the 7th chapter begins, the Uddhav Gita. So please read. Prabhupada's purport is there. I'm sorry, not Prabhupada's purport. These purports are actually given by translation. Purport was done by a group of Prabhupada disciples. And so anyway, it is available, so please read that. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Does anybody have any question? Yes, Vinod Bihari.
Yeah, Maharaj, regarding this concept about dreaming, you're saying, in that context, are we to understand that our spiritual soul is still in the spiritual sky and we are dreaming that we are in the material world, or physically our soul is in the material world and we are dreaming?
You see, spirit soul is where his consciousness is, right? Like when, say for example, if your consciousness is being projected through your body here, then you are here, right? So you are here. And you're here, the point is, you're here because you've forgotten Krishna. Right? You're here in order to suffer. But the illusory energy of the Lord is making you feel that you can enjoy. And sometimes it gives you a little touch of so-called enjoyment in the form of happiness, right? And through the body, with the sense gratifying the senses, we do get some sort of pleasure. But that is not the real pleasure, real joy. So then, when this consciousness is projected onto Krishna through devotional service, yes, then we become situated in the spiritual world. It is not a geographical consideration. It's a consideration of consciousness, where your consciousness is. If your consciousness is here, you are conditioned. If your consciousness is in Krishna, then you're liberated.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Any other question?
Yeah, Maharaj.
Yes, Rishabh Dev.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I have two questions, if I may. One of my questions is basically regarding prayers. I mean, when I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are so many beautiful prayers being offered to the Lord, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita being offered, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offering prayers and Nityananda Prabhu. So how do we pray? That's my question. And if there is a correct or a formula, like how that our prayers pleases the Lord. And because especially now in the time that we are in, many people are praying for...
I got your point, yeah. So Prabhupada in that respect is saying that first you repeat their prayers. How the other exalted personalities are praying, you repeat their prayers, right? And that is how you learn how to pray. Otherwise, you do not know how to pray, right? When we are conditioned, we do not know how to pray. When you're conditioned, what will be our prayers like? Oh Lord, won't you give us a Mercedes Benz? Right? So we'll be asking for mundane things, right? Because we do not know what to want, right? So, as we were saying, the prayers by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, prayers by Nityananda Prabhu, prayers by Queen Kunti, prayers by, Bhishma Dev. So these are the prayers we repeat. Like, don't we say a prayer? Om Agyanati Mirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya. Did you compose the prayer? Samsaradava Nalalila Loka. So these are the prayers we are praying. And by praying in this way, we learn how to pray. And our prayers will be only for Krishna, only for my service to Krishna, and nothing else. Not for Idam Krishnaya Namama. All these asking is, all these are for Krishna, not for me. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. And my other question is, recently I was hospitalized for a few weeks due to a minor operation. But during that period, I noticed that when I was hospitalized for a few days, I wasn't allowed to have any food and water. So like it was difficult for chanting also in that sense. And another part was after the surgery also, you are in pain and you couldn't chant. So my question is it allowed for us to chant in our minds during such times?
Yeah, sure. You see, we have two bodies, gross body and subtle body, right? So the gross body is made of gross matter. And at some point when the gross body will become incapacitated, then we have to render service, we have to offer our prayers through our subtle body, right? Okay, with your body you cannot, say, with your body you cannot cook for Krishna. But with your mind you can cook for Krishna, right? like the Brahmana was offering sweet rice to Krishna in his mind. But it was so real that when he tasted the sweet rice, whether it was still hot or not, he got a blister in his finger. So that's how real those mental offerings can be. But don't offer through mind when the body is active. Not that with the body we'll do all kinds of nonsense, and with the mind we'll offer service to Krishna. That's cheating. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Yes, Ananda? You have to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Like in your class, you said that if somebody was asked that would you want a new body or would you want to go back to a child body, then most of us would say yes. But sometimes, like in my situation, I would say, like if somebody asked me for a new body, but the question is that we don't want to be born again in this material world, because even if we get a better body, then still there is a birth, death, old age, and disease, and sufferings, and a tendency to forget Krishna in the next birth. There's a possibility. So,
Well,
how to?
It is not a matter of, you see, we wanting something. It is ultimately, it's a matter of what is our situation. We may say we do not want to come back again, but the thing is, if we remain attached to this material world, then we have to come back. For example, you see, at the time of death, wherever our deepest attachment is, that will be the last thought. We leave the body with the thought of our deepest attachment, right? And accordingly, one will get his next body. Like, say, if, yeah, fine, if your deepest attachment is to Krishna, then yes, you'll think of Krishna at the time of death. And then, yes, we'll go back to Krishna. But if not, then have to come back again. And that's why, it's very, very dangerous to keep dogs. Like nowadays, people have, practically in the outside world, everybody has dogs. And they do feel that the dogs are their best friend. Because, with dogs, you develop a relationship. Like, they're so loving, actually. We come home and they're so happy. They're more happy to see you than you. Naturally, develop some attachment, and you're running the risk to remember, the dog at the time of leaving your body. And the result will be, like, what happened to Bharat Maharaj. Just,
Yes.
like he left, he was the king of the whole world, left everything. But he ended up, becoming attached to a baby deer. Mm-hmm. And at the time of death, he just thought of the deer and got into a deer body. Mm-hmm. So that's how, dangerous our situation can be. Therefore, it's very important that we practice the process of Krishna consciousness properly when we are here. Develop our attachment to Krishna in such a way that we will think of Krishna and nothing else. That will be our deepest attachment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna very much.
Okay. Yeah, Tulsi Manjari.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for such a lovely class and your association, Guru Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a question which may sound a little stupid. Maharaj, I always wonder that we in Grihastha life, we get married, we have children in Krishna conscious movement also, Guru Maharaj, but We are so attached to our children, Maharaj. And it is, what chances do we have to remember Krishna, and how our attachment lies with our children? So how can we remember Krishna?
Very good. Krishna consciousness means to see things with Krishna in the center. Krishna is not saying, that is the advantage of being in Sankirtan. The word Sankirtan means glorify Krishna or think of Krishna in every possible way. Like, like you have your child. Don't think that this is your child. Consider that she is Krishna's. Your husband is not your husband. He is Krishna's servant. Your house is not your house. It's Krishna's temple. Right? So this is the meaning of becoming Krishna conscious. Right? From every single angle, from every single perspective, you are just seeing everything in the light of Krishna. Okay? So then what happens? Then you, through all those objects of your love, you develop your love for Krishna. Through that love, you learn what love is. And then you offer that love to Krishna. Right? So it's important because we have to learn how to love. Most of us don't know, especially as a sannyasi, we don't know how to love. But the householders, yes, you develop your love for your children, you develop your love for other family members, and then you learn how to love. And this is how you learn how to love Krishna. Like you say, well, this is how I must love Krishna. All right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Dry rejection. Krishna consciousness is not dry rejection. Krishna consciousness is full of joy. It's not dry, it's full of relish. Right? And through this relishing, we actually develop our Krishna consciousness.
Thank you so much.
So, yes, next question.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yes, Vicky.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for this wonderful lecture. I just, I find it a little bit difficult to portray my question, but from COVID pandemic, at the very least, the one thing we've learned is that nothing is really in our control. So could you talk a little bit about free will, destiny, and how the karmas are intertwined with this? And further to the destiny part, do we I mean, when we talk about destiny, there are for example, you could take astrology from one side, which says like you have a predetermined or predetermine what your destiny is. So how do you view all of this?
Yes, I got it. Free will, karma, destiny. Okay. Free will is Krishna has given us independence to act. Why? Because Krishna wants us to develop a loving relationship with him. Right? Love cannot be forced. Right? Love has to be spontaneous. So that's why Krishna has given us the free will. Yes, you have the free will. You decide whether you're going to love me or you're going to love yourself, your body. That's the thing. And so these are the two options we have. This body centered around our false ego. And we have the freedom to decide what we want. Oh, I want to enjoy here, right? But the result of that is the action-reaction principle called karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. You have the freedom, you're acting independently, so be prepared for the reactions of your actions, right? That is called karma. And whatever becomes the consequence of your karma, that is the destiny, is going to happen. All right? Nothing happens by chance. Whatever is happening to you is destined to happen because of your previous activities, right? And those activities are judged by some higher authorities by the arrangement of Krishna. Krishna is not directly in getting involved. Krishna is just a silent witness as the super soul. The demigods are making those controls. And that's how you see the demigods' controls or influence is projected through this astrology. The position of the stars and the influence of the stars, meaning the positions and the influence of different demigods on you due to your activities is the astrological prediction or astrological judgment. Yeah, go ahead.
So do we follow astrology in any way in order to live the day-to-day life here?
It's a science. Astrology is a science. It's a science. Like the Vedas have 6 limbs. The body of the Vedas have 6 limbs. And one of that limbs is astrology. And that is the eyes of the Vedas. With our eyes, we see only the present. But through this eye of the Vedas, you can see your past, present, and future. So yeah, it's a science. But the thing is that when you get the ultimate point, then there is no need to depend on that. And the ultimate point is surrender to Krishna. When you surrender to Krishna, then all your karmic reactions and everything has been wiped out. Therefore, they don't work. If you surrender to Krishna, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. When all your sinful reactions have been wiped out, what is there to worry about? Right? Therefore, those who surrender unto Krishna, for them, astrology is not necessary. But still through astrology, you can see the world situation, what's going to happen. Like many people already predicted what's going to happen, because through astrology, they could see that this is what is going to happen, reading the influence of different stars and planets.
Thank you, son. Thank you very much, Mark.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vinod Bihar, do you have a question? Yeah, unmute here.
Hare Krishna
just-
Maharaj.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Binky.
I just have a small question. Thank you for your lecture, Maharaj. In life, when you desire something in life and you pray to Krishna and your wish is fulfilled, but you are thankful to Krishna, and then all of a sudden your wish is not fulfilled, or your happiness is only up to a certain limit or a certain time. How can we like digest or swallow what is going on in your life, and why is this happening?
Okay. Yeah.
Or
See,
is it are we supposed to just be happy with whatever we had just for a short period of time?
yeah. Okay. If you have some desire, yes, Prabhupada is saying that you can ask Krishna. Right? Prabhupada is saying, instead of, Krishna also is saying that in Bhagavad Gita. If you have some desire, there's no need to ask the demigods, because demigods will give it to you, fulfill your desire, only by Krishna's approval. So better to ask Krishna. If you have some desire, and like, you know, say for example, if you're a child, then you ask the father, give me this, give me that, right? But when you grow up, then you don't ask the father. When you grow up, then you want to serve the father, right? Or mother. So similarly, with Krishna, you know, like when you're children, we ask from Krishna. But when you grow up, then you don't want to ask. Rather, we want to serve him, right? But it will depend upon our advancement, degree of our advancement. So there's no need to artificially do something. If I am a child, let me behave like a child. And we can ask the father, and the father will see whether it is appropriate for us. Not that everything that I ask for the father will give. My father asks the father, give me a toy, he gives it. Give me a laddu, he gives it, right? But then we see people smoking cigarette, so give me a cigarette, will the father give it? Right? So the father will give, he knows what is good for us and what's not good for us. So we may ask Krishna, but if Krishna doesn't give, then we have to recognize that it was not good for me. That's why Krishna didn't give it to me. All right? That's how you become surrendered to Krishna. You become surrendered to Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants to give you, be happy with that. And if Krishna doesn't give something, be happy with that. I'll give you an example. Like it happened actually, like in reality. One person had a very important business and the flight was full and he had to, you know, he really had to go there and he was so upset that the flight was full and he couldn't get the ticket. But then you know what happened? The plane crashed. Now see, momentarily he was upset that he couldn't get the ticket, but if he got the ticket, then what would have happened?
Yeah, he would have lost his body.
Right. So that's how we should depend upon Krishna, not think, oh, I wanted it and then I must have it. That's a naughty child. Right? Demanding, have to give it, crying. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That incident happened in 9/11, you know?
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So, okay, so I will end now because soon I have to give another class. It was very nice to be with all of you. Now I feel that, yes, my annual visit to Malaga has been accomplished.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. We would like to express our deepest gratitude for your giving us time, valuable time. We know we are having a busy schedule. And we'd love to know whether it is possible for you to come, not very regular, whenever it's possible, like once in a month or something. This way we can be more connected with you. I know we are attending your other programs as well, but this is more personal for us.
I know, yeah, right. Actually, I feel this is much better than going to the places. Because you know, you meet all of them together in such a way, and I don't have to trouble you to cook for me all the time.
Yeah.
No, Guru Maharaj, you still will have to come. You still will have to come because otherwise, I mean, Vani is okay, but Vapu is more important for us as well still.
Thank you. Yes, I will.
Okay, so we will be in touch again next month, maybe, is possible. Okay, thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.